And you are all set.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. And we will start with, roll call, please.
Paul St. Norman,
Maureen Buffy, Norma Smith. Do we approve of the minutes? Is it make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This. Short and
Okay.
sweet.
The grant update, Erin isn't here tonight and she said she was going to send the information to me, but I never received it, so I don't know where any of that stands.
Don't just have to wait till next
We could
meeting.
table it for next
Yep.
month.
It sounded like last month that they were in the process of reviewing items
Right,
anyway,
right.
so.
I'm sure that if we had gotten something, she
She
would
would've
have
let
sent something, so. Anyway, the St. Germain's store saga. I finally traced it down to DEM. And I ended up at Parks and Recreation with DEM, and they have no plans for the building. They don't want a vendor in it. They're just gonna sit on it and sell it eventually, and their process will take a few years. The state,
Right.
the state.
Yeah, the state
Unless,
process.
what did he say to Maria contacted them. And they said, I had printed it out and I left it on my table. Smart. Annex. Tonight, and she said she was going to send
Sorry.
the information to me, but I
How would you-
never received it, so I don't know. Where idiot was
There it goes.
watching,
That's better.
was watching the replay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
YouTube's a few minutes behind.
Okay,
Proceed.
okay. This is what they said to Maria, the assistant manager. I spoke to Frank Four, administrator of DEM's Bureau of Natural Resources and Parks regarding 31 Hill Farm Road. Mr. Four indicated that the building is going through DEM's property disposition process and will be put up for private sale. As there are numerous agencies that will need to review the document and document the building, the process can take years. Once the review of the building is done, legal notices for the sale of the building will be posted. They have no interest in leasing the building to a vendor. There is zero chance that repair to the roof's rake will be done while the building is going through disposition process. The building is moldy inside and has groundwater intrusion issues. Mr. Ford indicated that if an NGO or government entity came forward with an interest in the property, the process is much quicker. Unfortunately, it does not look like the future looks too bright for the 31 Hill Farm Road.
So basically, it will sit there and disintegrate, except for the stone walls, which are also disintegrating onto the sidewalk regularly, because the plaster is falling off of it. That's how the state is gonna deal with it.
There was another one saying that if somebody else is interested in it,
Yeah,
another like town or
I don't know if the,
municipality,
if the town manager needs to write a letter because of the physical hazard that the building represents. Or I don't know how any of the governmental interactions work that way from state to town, but I mean, have you been by it, John?
Yes, every day.
Okay, so you see how that stuff is just peeling off
Yeah.
and the roof is collapsing into it.
Mhm.
It is a danger to kids mainly, teenagers, whatever, fooling around or whatever, they go in there, someone's gonna get hurt.
Mhm.
But it's gonna sit there for
Yeah,
a few more years.
from the sounds of that correspondence to you.
Yeah, now in here, the minutes here. Jonathan Pasqua
Yep,
had somebody that was interested in it. Where do we stand on telling the state to move faster? I don't know. Is the state the town write to them and say, well, they need to do something?
If the town is willing to, so you've said you've had conversations with the assistant town manager. What was her reaction to the?
Well, we didn't really talk about that one. We talked
Mhm.
about the other ones that are on the agenda, Summit Library Teen Center. And that was an interesting reply from which could. Wait a minute, let me find her again. Okay. 668 Washington Street Teen Center and the Summit Library. See what it is. Typically, when a municipality sells a historic property, we work with them to set restrictions in place. This can be accomplished a few ways. The town can place the building under a preservation covenant, which would require historic district review or preservation easement can be placed on the property. The easement is then managed by either our agency or a suitable nonprofit. These are things that we can discuss further if you send me a cover letter. So could we get them involved in this? This is the state preservation, Rhode Island Heritage Preservation. So this is also state.
Mhm.
Should we see what they say?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can't, I don't have the.
No, I know. I'm just wondering, I mean, that they seem to think it's okay to watch it fall down
Mhm.
and not do anything,
Yeah,
or at least
so-
put something over it in the time being. Some sort of roof or something on it for the time being.
Well. They could cover it with a large tarpaulin or something, but there's gotta be something there to hold it up. Because half the roof is caved in, so that's part of the issue, but. Your idea of contacting the state historic commission, is that the correct term?
Preservation, Heritage Preservation
Yeah,
Commission.
it's probably at least worth a phone call to find out. If you should be writing a letter to them, do you know anyone there that you speak to on,
Yeah, I have.
that you can have a contact?
Well, this person that
Yeah.
wrote this email, I would go
Yeah.
with Elizabeth Totten, Totten.
So it would probably be worth the time to check on that with
Yeah.
it. I know it puts more work on you, but.
No, but I mean, it
you're-
just,
You're the one in charge here.
there's one thing dealing with the town,
Yeah,
but when it's a state issue too, like the
Yeah.
other things on this agenda.
yeah, it's just, it's really a question in my mind, just as. Besides you calling and finding out if they have recommendations, that is
Well,
the
that's, yeah,
Preservation Commission. Does having the town manager. Get involved in writing a letter and, asking for. Them to speed up this process and so something can be done to save the
Mhm.
building.
I don't know what this review is. They have to ask everybody at state
Yeah.
level. I mean, to me, it's not difficult.
Yep. We're all on the learning curve here.
No, I know, because it doesn't make any sense. All right, I'll see what Rhode Island Preservation says. I don't know what else to do at this point.
I mean, since their main focus is to try and preserve historic
Mhm.
structures. Hopefully they'd have some good advice.
Right. At least point us in a direction.
Hmm,
Mm.
correct.
Okay. Any questions? Reed School. Always on the agenda.
The
Flagpole.
flagpole. That I will talk to the painter
Yeah.
and I may see him tomorrow. I'm not sure, but I will make a note. Can I borrow your pen?
Sure.
Just to, you know,
Was it
because
coming-
it's getting warm enough now, obviously. This week
I
has
was gonna
been
say,
an
next
anomaly,
week, yeah.
you know, and in that sense, I would have never wanted to do it this week with the weather.
No,
but
no, I know,
I'll call him to put it in his schedule.
but
so.
it's just that we're coming to the end of the year.
Yeah. No, I would say that'll get done in the next
Okay.
few weeks.
Okay. And also, we had talked about Payne House doing a program in the Reed School. Well, they ended up, it took too long, so what they're
Yeah.
doing is put off till June.
Yeah,
That program they wanted to do, but they're doing something this weekend.
yeah, they are.
If something's open, I mean, they're gonna have it open, but it's not that particular program.
Right. I did
Um,
see them advertise that.
Yeah, and I think they were there today cleaning it.
Good. That's good.
DPW
Good
gave
that
them
it
the
gets
key.
used.
Yeah, so I just wanted
Mm-hmm.
to mention that that is moving forward.
Good.
She ended up talking to the new town manager and
Yep.
it moved right ahead, so.
Sounds like a good man.
I guess they had to get a porta potty.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah,
We don't have one. Kevin McGee doesn't think the septic is good and
Right.
that we should get a porta john, so
Yeah.
can we put that, how do we get a porta john?
because they didn't know if they were paying, because I didn't, because I
No, they
think,
shouldn't have to.
For
pay.
Reed
I think they
Schoolhouse.
thought they were paying,
Yeah.
I think they thought they might have to pay for that.
Well, there won't be one for their event tomorrow
Oh, right,
or Saturday,
right.
but how do we get a porta john for the school?
Well, the question would be, is it our event or is it their event?
There's,
So if the commission's so inclined, they could spend their own operating funds to provide,
and leave it
Porta
there for the
john.
summer.
but. Well, that could get costly.
It's
I know the land
It's
trust-
I was gonna
$100.
say too.
Basically, it's $100 a month
Is it?
for a porta potty.
Okay,
My cost.
okay.
I don't know how.
You might want to keep it locked up when it's not in use.
Yes,
because
you do.
People do,
Well, again,
passersby will,
It-
yeah,
they might tip it over
Yeah.
or whatever, but yes, you'd want to put a lock on it when it's not something going on. But that's basically, basic cost for porta potties around $90 or $100 a month.
Mhm,
Like when you're doing a building project or whatever, but
Sure,
if they needed one there and they wanted to, I could call Situate Portables, they're the closest ones and only because I use so many of them for my work that if they wanted one there for Saturday, I'm sure I could get one there, but you're gonna have to let me know in the morning so I can call them if you need to.
Well, I didn't know
That's-
if because it's town, if you had to go through a specific company, because I know Raina gets.
That's
done
true.
and all that
So
stuff, so I
right,
don't know.
right. They may have
the
to,
land trust and it's been no problem. Just,
yeah, the town probably
Okay.
has somebody they
Now, do
use.
we want it just for the summers in case the school is open during the summer?
Well,
it's.
I
What do you wanna
would, I mean, I would just get it for the month at first and then you can extend it,
find out
you
how.
know,
Okay.
yeah.
much they intend.
You don't have to commit to that. I mean, if you just say you want it for the month. And the point being is that you're gonna
Yeah.
pay. If you only had it there for the weekend, you're gonna pay the $90.
So leave it for
Basically.
the month. Okay,
Yep.
all right. Well, it's just that, yeah, Kevin doesn't want them to use the toilet because he's afraid of the septic. I have
Yeah.
no idea what that septic is like.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
true, if you've got a, bunch of people there and kids all day long,
Yeah.
it could easily.
Yeah.
Not work,
Be a
function.
disaster.
Yeah, you
Mm.
could have it backing up or something and then have a bigger problem. So,
I only brought it up because it sounds like it's their event. They set it up with the town manager. I
Yeah.
just
Right.
didn't know if
Yeah,
the commission wanted to spend that
Mm.
money out of their own operating budget. Not that it's a lot, but or if it's on them to make sure that they have adequate facilities there.
Well, two things here. One is, does the town have someone that can get a porta potty there? You know, that they use all the time? And find out what, who should be paying for it.
Right, and did they already
You, right,
look into that to,
who,
no?
no, you know that for sure.
No, because at the time that all this was happening, there were, and that's
Who do
one of
you-
the things
who
I
do you
said to the
talk
town
to?
manager. We don't have a protocol set up that
Mm.
you're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. We don't
Right.
have anything in place because we've never done it.
Yeah,
Um,
I
that's
would say
true.
the land trust, when they're putting on an event.
Yeah.
It's their own event, they get their own. Porta john,
Yeah.
Mm,
if,
But this isn't particularly ours, it's Payne Houses.
right,
yeah,
so
and
it doesn't matter, I was just asking the question.
Well, I'm just saying, if now I tell them now you need to get your own porta potty
who is it that you talked to there?
down a wedge.
The woman that came here that,
Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, I mean,
Maybe it would just
I-
be worth, explaining.
I
to
don't
her
have
that-
her number, but I have Bob Showme's number. I mean, to ask him if he, because he's the one that does all the financial
Yeah,
stuff.
no,
To
yeah.
ask him if he knows whether were planning on getting a porta potty for there. And call him after
Mm.
and find out. But obviously, if they didn't, it probably should be considered because of the septic system. There's probably not really a functioning septic
Mm.
system. That, it's probably a cesspool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Could be, who knows?
Then you can go from there.
The computer just wants to update itself.
So do you wanna make a motion to get one if they don't have one, or how do you wanna put that into words?
Yeah, for this one time, I mean, you learn a lesson, that obviously if it's gonna get used and no one's thought about that I certainly didn't with the use of the toilet in that
And
in
there's
there,
still
but
outhouses there, but you don't
right,
use them.
right, no. That would in the future be always a consideration, but yeah,
Whoever's
I would say
using it, yeah, okay.
to get the place to be used and to start
Mhm.
a process of hopefully it getting used again, that we do that.
And
So
work on it.
I'll make a motion that if we need to, we get a porta potty there.
Okay,
I'll second that. And in the meantime, we can also confirm that they are actually going to be there for some length of time on this Saturday.
yeah,
Right.
Maybe
first of all.
their plans have
Yeah.
changed.
And the worst that happens, if I call Bob, show me, and he doesn't know, he'll give me, or he'll call her for
you
me,
should tell me.
and find out a little more on it, so I can, and then from there, I'll go back to you, Norma,
Yeah.
where I'll call you or text you, and then you can find out if the town has somebody a vendor that they use for the porta potties.
Well, who does Land Trust use?
I don't have the name off the top of my head. I can find it very easily, but
I mean, it's just if they're using somebody, I know Parks and Rec uses somebody, but I
Right.
don't know who else. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter to me who we get
Right,
it.
but whoever Parks and Rec uses must bill the town directly, so that's the point. Instead, if I get it, then I'm gonna have to bill the town. It's only $100, I'm not worried about it, but it's just a simpler
if it's billed directly.
for everybody if it's just still done that way. Although, I can probably get situated to just bill them directly if I have to. And I'm only offering to do that because I know I can probably get them to drop it there on Saturday, late
Quickly.
tomorrow or Saturday morning if we had to. They're usually very, very accommodating to me. Because they pay my bills all the time.
They like you. So, what are we doing? We're getting a porta potty.
I'm gonna make this so everybody understands it.
Yes,
And I'm gonna call Bob Chomey, see and make
Okay.
sure what's going on Saturday.
okay,
And if they considered putting a porta potty there,
okay,
and if he doesn't know I'm gonna ask him to call Donna Wedge, find out
Mhm.
about how many people or whatever they think they're gonna have, and then we'll go from there, and I'll get back to you either tonight or in the morning. And
okay,
then we can make that decision whether
Yeah.
it's a vendor that the town, like Parks and
Yeah.
Recs uses or whatever, or whether I make a call to try and get one
Yeah.
there for it. Okay,
okay, sound good?
Mhm. I believe there was a motion somewhere
Oh.
in there.
I think
Yeah, we did.
we had, we
Oh,
had
and it did,
made a
it said-
motion and I had seconded it
Yep.
to,
To,
that we would-
if we needed to, that we would authorize getting
Yeah.
the porta potty there.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There again, because we're coming to the end of the year with the stone on Madison Road. Did you talk to his name?
Brian,
Heel?
oh,
Right.
Heel.
I know that.
I gotta talk to them anyway, because doing a gravestone for my aunt.
Is she in Plainland? Next
Say-
door to Maple Group?
She,
Was she
Is over-
recently buried?
no, my aunt Margaret. Who do
I
you
bet you
think?
might be connected to the one that passed away recently that was buried over in Plainland. No,
No,
because
she's
you're probably
buried,
related to everybody anyway.
I
that's
am,
why.
I am, but no, she's buried in St. Peter and Paul Cemetery on Hill Street.
Oh,
That's the one.
Norma and I were there recently.
About stone. And whether he can engrave it right on the stone.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Or
just, you
whether we
know,
need a plaque to
Yeah.
put.
Yeah,
on
whatever
No.
is the best route to go
Again,
so that we can get that done.
Because of the historical societies and that
Yeah.
I'm mutually involved in, and I talk to Brian fairly regularly, so.
And I didn't put the signs on. Didn't think to put signs on till you got that
Yeah.
email yesterday. So we can't talk about them. Sorry.
No, just on the stone, and staying on that for a second. If you were to carve it right on it,
Mhm.
because we did talk about that.
Yeah.
And what were we trying to put on it?
Well, that's the site of the first townhouse.
So we tried to have something like that on it,
There was
for
date.
townhouse with a date.
I think
Is
there's
there
a date.
associated
I
with
think,
that?
I think there's a. Not a definite date, but yeah,
Yeah,
18
I
something.
mean, that's
To,
pretty,
Site of original townhouse.
Pretty
very
easy to
first-
find out.
First townhouse,
Yep.
circa 18, blah, blah.
even
Yeah,
in
it doesn't
that,
have to be a whole big
no,
history, just,
okay,
okay. So you're gonna check.
yep,
Okay, town map behind me. I guess it was approved at council meeting the other night that it goes out for restoration.
nice.
and how does that happen? I mean, does he come
He
pick it
comes
up?
and gets it.
Oh, good,
He's not that far away. He's in
Oh.
Massachusetts, but he's only like 40 minutes away.
yeah, that's good,
Yeah.
I mean, because you know what, even though I've looked at this thing before a couple
Yeah.
of times, I forgot how big it was, so,
So this is an
Yeah.
art conservator that's
Yes,
doing this?
Because it's canvas.
yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, he's gonna clean it and
make it,
touch it up
Look
a little
great.
bit, but
Yeah.
not to totally repaint the whole thing because he just wants to make.
and a lot of it is
some
the
new ones.
lettering in that too,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
all that,
I think that
whether it's a varnish or something dried
yeah,
up,
that separated paint, I don't think he's gonna fill that in.
right,
He's
right.
just gonna do some of this detail here.
Yeah, you'd be surprised just how nice it looks when they're done with it. Usually
Oh, yeah.
these art restorers,
Yeah.
when they do that, it comes out really nice.
And even the Hope Mill's there. On this map.
Oh, wow.
But
The Hope Mill is on this
Yeah,
map.
yeah.
But anyway, so exactly, he's just gonna make it stand out a little bit more, but he's not
Yeah.
gonna try to redo the whole thing.
Right,
Just clean it and
yeah.
cover it with varnish so that it's cleaned. Did you put the pictures of the mantle?
Yes,
This is what it was like in the old town hall.
this one.
Yeah, this
So
nice
it's
picture.
part of the mantle. So now
Yeah.
the question is, how do they hang it in town hall here? They're gonna have to figure out a way to, because it's part of that wall there.
Yeah, I had seen it before they took it out. Remember
Yeah.
that time we went and walked through there?
Yeah, but I didn't remember
Yeah.
it being in as part of the.
Well,
mantle.
yeah, it was built in as a frame.
Yeah, so that supported it. Well, putting it here in this town hall,
Mhm.
And
you
that,
wouldn't have the mantle,
that's not a problem.
Do we know where it's gonna go? What wall it's?
They
gonna
say
be?
they want it hanging behind the council.
Something like this. They make heavy iron brackets
Mm,
that would
okay.
run up the wall behind and stick out like that. You'd probably need like 4 of them for
Mm-hmm.
that, and those, it would sit literally on that and hold it.
Yeah, but that's what they've said that they want it
Mm.
like behind.
Yeah.
The. coun-
Yeah,
where
it
the
should be.
Town council is,
Yep,
because that was town council chambers,
yep.
so,
No, that would be a
Mm.
good spot for it.
and it was done for the 200th anniversary, 1941, which was when the building was built.
Mhm.
And the anniversary, because it says that on the painting for the anniversary, 200th anniversary in 1941.
John, where are those pictures? Are they on the town website? Or
These were
that,
sent to me by Norma.
Maria,
oh,
took them. She was in the other day and she took pictures of it, so yeah,
so you had them.
she sent them to me. And
Yep.
I just, the visual was always easier. I remembered it hanging there, but I didn't remember how it was hanging there, so now it's like, okay, it was part of that mantle, which supported it.
Yep.
Okay. So it's gonna be done, and hopefully for the town anniversary, which is in August, is what we talked about.
Wait,
They'll
what
unveil it
anniversary?
or whatever.
What is that?
When the town started, I think it's August 25th. I'm gonna have to recheck the date. So it leaves May, June, and July to get this finished and hung.
Of a big unveiling ceremony.
Again, one last question on that. So do you call this gentleman that's gonna restore it or?
The town's
or
doing it now.
Town's doing it? Good.
Town's doing it now.
Okay.
I'm out of the loop now.
Yep,
And it comes out of the preservation
The
budget.
ARPA
Yep.
funds.
Oh,
Was
oh,
what
that's
they
right,
said.
that's
They
right,
said
that's right.
they were gonna
The
take it. I'm
Yep.
assuming they're not taking it out of, as far as I know, they're not taking,
Okay,
That's what the
Forget about that.
resolution stated.
yeah, ARPA funds, right? Yeah, because we don't have enough money,
right,
because it's almost $10,000 just to get it restored.
that's right.
Yeah.
That small detail.
Okay. Okay, new business, and I don't know if it really is new business or not, because we've talked about these things before. They want to sell the teen center and Summit, the town. Summit Library. And they asked if we had any stipulations that we'd like to put in place. I said I'd like to see them have to keep, well, teen center is in a national historic district, Summit is not. But I don't see how teen center or Anthony, the athletic center, can be a multifamily or anything like
So
that.
they have
because of parking.
prospective buyers for these?
No, it hasn't been put up for sale yet,
yeah.
that I know of,
They'd have to, I guess, create access to the back and have the parking all in the back, but I don't know how they'd get that past DEM because of
Because of
the
the river.
river.
Right.
I mean, even the town's own zoning laws. Would require. A significant number of parking spaces.
Yeah,
And if you're doing anything more than 2 units. You have to then consider ADA compliance and.
yeah,
There's a
right.
whole.
There's so many,
base-
and that's a lot so small,
Yes.
dealing with any of that. That's the problem with that building.
Mhm.
I mean, back in the day when that was done, everybody walked.
Yeah.
Everybody that lived around there used it, but they walked to it, so there wasn't an issue, but there's no parking there.
And the road wasn't that wide back in those
Right.
days, I think it's
Right.
more probably in front.
Yeah, that building is a real problem because of its siting where it is. It just, the total lack, look at how many buildings along that way have been doomed because there's no parking. Those others that sit further down that are rotting away, that's
Mm.
gonna all return back to the river because they're all gonna be, you can't do anything with them. Once the state widened the road
Yeah.
and took away the parking spaces, they weren't,
Like that where the
viable
laundry
anymore.
was. I remember as a laundry, that building
Yeah.
is still there.
yeah. But it's, again, slowly, and then it'll be quick when it deteriorates
Yeah.
further. It's no maintenance is being done and it'll start rotting. But it's useless the way it is because of there's no parking. So how could you
So-
have a business or any kind of
Will they
apartments
end
in
up,
there?
will they end up knocking it down? Is
I-
that
I
on the
think
table?
eventually it's gonna be like the Byron
Byron
Reed
Reed.
building. They will default on their taxes, it will turn over to the town and it will eventually
Well, it's
be
a town
torn down.
property, so that's not a tax.
Yeah, it's a town property now,
It's not a
and that's the
taxable
question at
property.
hand.
Oh,
If
Yeah,
it
it's
gets,
not a town.
if the town decides that it wants to sell it, which sounds like it's going that way.
Yeah.
What, if any, stipulations as part of the sale?
I mean, that they asked us something, usually they don't ask, but that they
I
asked.
would-
They're looking for input, right?
But
To what-
for the teen center, I mean. I know there were other issues with that because of the
Oh, you know that,
supposed long-term lease thing from the mill people who originally did it, but that's nothing to do with us. But I wouldn't put any stipulations on it. If someone wanted to buy it, thank God, you know?
well, there again, you don't want to put a high rise on. With a.
Yeah, no, that
No,
only
they
works
would
if
do, yeah, so
if
it's,
it's in line with what.
so
you
it's
guys
pretty
want.
much
Yeah.
under building or planning's rules as to whether, to what happens
Yeah,
with
no
that
matter
building.
Yeah.
what, no matter what they do there,
Mhm.
Has
if
to
they
be
want
zoning.
to, it has to be zoned correctly.
Mm.
And if they want to knock it down, they most likely could. Because it's not protected under some sort of town
Mm.
ordinance. But anything that they want to rebuild would certainly be subject
They
to.
could put a
our
Dunkin'
new rules
Donut
and
there.
Regulations.
Dollar store.
Dollar store.
Dollar store.
But
Very
again,
small
that-
dollar store.
Being in the business. That is such a tough site, being right on the river, and with today's rules and regulations that. You knock the building down, now you're having to meet all current setback requirements, but not by the town, but by DEM.
Both.
And the town's is enough, but I mean, when you throw in DEMs on a site like that, so. You know, I don't even, I don't, you'd have to be creative.
It'll be a tough sell no matter what.
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
think
be.
they're just saying in a hypothetical situation,
Yeah,
if this were to get sold,
yep,
what would the commission, if anything, be looking to preserve? What stipulations would they be wanting as part of any sort of sale? That's all. Whether it's to protect the visual character, I'm just throwing ideas out there, I don't know.
Hmm. I wouldn't mind living there.
Park down the street and walk.
No, there's room for one car. I only have one.
Is that what, is there parking for a
There's
single
one
car?
dri- one car.
That's
Yeah.
it. But
It's not a street you want to park on.
your car will get hit sooner or later. But, and I mean, I just don't see us putting certain restrictions on that building. Because it would just limit further who you might ever get to purchase it.
Mm.
And
Well, more than likely, they'd have to keep part of the building in place anyway, as it stands now, right?
most
I mean,
likely,
If, like you
That
were
would
saying,
probably be their best case scenario,
yeah,
because
because
it's already there.
Right.
It's already non-conforming
Yep.
to
Yeah.
the
Right.
current regulations.
you have to work with
That's-
what's there as it is.
Mm.
I mean, I've been through that with customers and projects
Mhm.
where. You know, I have to work with what's there
Mhm.
because of those situations, you know. But anyway,
Okay. Summit Library, there's the guy across the street wanted to buy it. I don't know if he still does.
So next door to the church.
cross,
Across from the church,
yep,
I mean, the person where they live,
Next door to
they're
the
next door to
church.
the church.
the guy that
Yeah.
you
A
wanted.
large house that they had done a lot of renovations.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted it because he wanted to make it a bike shop.
Oh, yes, I think he stopped over one of the days.
A
when we
couple
were
of times, he
moving.
said, but I cannot remember his name.
and
But, and I told Maria that too. I said he wanted to buy it a few years back and no, they wouldn't even talk to them.
Hmm.
To him. They wouldn't nobody
Who-
would respond to him and Maria asked me.
was he who bought the church next door to him?
That was
I
gonna be
don't
my
know who bought the
question.
church.
Yep,
I don't know who bought the church, because he
John,
moved by
do you
the,
know,
You could look it up on the.
oh, it might be on the
On the-
database, no?
the Summit Church? Because the gentleman that lives in the house next to the Summit Church that is being renovated currently. Talked to us for a while when we were moving
He
stuff out
wanted-
of there
he
and
wanted to buy
he
it,
was
nobody
interested.
responded to him.
Yep,
He tried everybody.
Which,
this is on the street that leads into
Summit-
Summit
Summit.
Store.
Yeah, Summit, The name of the street is Summit.
Is it?
This is like,
Yeah, Old Summit Road. It's right there. Where those dots are.
Perfect. Yes, because this came before our zoning board, because this is technically a commercial zone.
Yeah.
And they wanted to convert it into a single family home. So they needed a special use permit. Is it this one?
That's it. So it's the guy on the other, on the right of that was wanted, the Summit Library.
yeah, it was that,
Yeah,
that person there that
Yes.
was
Yeah, that name
interested in
sounded-
the library.
Robert Demery. He was the one that appeared before the zoning board.
But it's the neighbor we're talking about,
The
right?
neighbor,
yeah.
Yeah,
Grimley.
that name sounds
James.
familiar.
Grimley, yes, he's
Yes,
the
that
one
makes
that was interested in the library.
And that's the church next door to him?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't recognize it. It doesn't. Oh, okay, I
Yeah,
see
yeah.
it. Got it. That I recognize. The
Yeah.
roof, not so much.
So it was the Grimley, what was it? Robert Grimley was the name?
James.
James
yeah.
Grimley?
The one in the house,
Yeah, he wanted to buy it.
okay,
I don't know if he still does. But he wanted to buy it, and at that time he said he wanted to make a bike shop.
Oh, yeah.
Now, where is the library?
Is that where
Right,
it
the
says
blue
E,
dot.
where it says
where it's the,
the little,
The little E?
yep,
Yeah.
of it,
Right
right there?
there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, you can't
That's
even
the-
see a building there. Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Oh,
it's a small lot.
home sweet home.
Mm.
Hmm.
I know he said that he wanted to buy it. Like, I still don't know if he still does, but
How much land is on that?
very
one?
little.
Yeah,
0.07 acres, so if I,
0.07 acres, is that all, John?
that's all.
Yeah,
wow.
If I pull out this little.
Well, it wasn't
tool.
built as a,
no, it was
It was-
built as a grange
yeah,
at
it was a
first.
grange, yeah. In hall, at the hall upstairs.
Roughly like 3,300 square feet.
Yeah.
Which.
Hmm.
put that
Barely big
in
enough to put
perspective,
a-
Our minimum lot size, residential lot size requirement is 20,000 square
Well,
feet.
Who owns that land next to it, that little strip, the 33 or whatever?
Oh, to the right, yeah.
John Casella.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look like it's buildable or anything.
No,
And then you got the other lot.
And that's
That's all part of that one.
the, is that the bike path in the back of it, right
No.
there? No.
The red line,
yes,
that's the bike path.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
the bike path.
It's in the
Yep, I
red
see it
lines
now.
in here.
Yep, I
Yep.
do see it. Yep.
Yeah, because on the corner there, that's Summit
Yep.
store.
It's always so helpful with these maps.
Hmm, hmm. Okay. So who should reach out to him? See if he still wants to buy it. Should I leave it to Maria?
yeah, it sounds like
Yes.
She's the one that
she,
seems to be
she's the one
spearheading it all.
taking stock of these different
Yeah.
properties.
Okay, I'll give her his name. That's not the issue that the teen center is. I mean,
No,
it's a building that needs help, but nobody can really build on
no,
that.
that building could be renovated and made very nice for some use.
Yeah.
And again, today they have the high-tech septic systems
Yeah.
that don't take much
Yeah.
space, so
Hmm.
they could deal with it like that.
Is there parking for, on that?
It's right on the road.
Right on the.
The building's right on the road.
But theoretically, I
So
mean,
if you had like
you could
one
pull around, you
Yeah.
can make
On
a
the
driveway.
grass or
Well, you
something?
could
There's
put
enough
in
room
front of-
on one side to put a driveway and stuff in,
Yeah.
and that's a
Yeah.
small
Almost
park,
40 feet here.
Yeah.
yep. So,
But that's not 117 either. So-
but what did you say about the lot size, John? Is it non-conforming? Is that,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
yeah,
This is our village. Rural commercial zone. So over there, I'm not exactly sure of the lot size, but it's definitely not 3,300.
so,
square
any,
feet.
yeah, it would have to go before zoning.
It really depends what they would be turning it into, if they're just.
right,
Yeah, it
right,
depends. If they're turning it into something that is conforming to the zone, they probably wouldn't need to get any
Yep,
extra step.
okay.
If they want to turn it
Yep.
into a house, they would need a special use. permit.
right.
Okay. Any other questions on that?
No,
So we don't have any stipulations really on either one.
no,
Okay. Now I've got the Byron Reed property on here because there's an old van sitting on it. They're working on cars and stuff
yeah,
there.
they're using it as a car repair lot now, the people that,
Yeah,
I believe it's the people that live to the right of the property. They have the van now, which sat there for 3 weeks. With the plates on, and now as of Monday, they had removed the plates and the van is sitting there
and I sent you that. from-
as a junk van.
Oh, maybe you can do it on
Is
GPS.
that on the site,
Right on
the
the-
former footprint? on
Yes.
the-
700
Yes.
Washington.
Oh, now isn't there a business right behind there? The
There is.
woodworking
There's the
business?
There
woodworking.
is the woodworking.
It's not them
place.
that's utilizing
No.
that space?
I've seen that van parked at the other house last year all the time, because going by there
Okay,
and walking.
so they
stuff.
moved it there for convenience.
Well, they were working on it there for a while, and they were working up the other end on it and leaving their junk around in their tires, and while they did it.
So that property. Oops.
We're looking to see, have the town tell them to
Well,
get it off there or to get towed
Well,
away
they
and
did-
junk.
Well, that's the question. When the town took possession of it or whatever, to take the building down. I thought
Double checking to see.
that's so, everybody assumed it was a town property, but according to the assessors, it's not. And I know somebody reported it and the police said they couldn't do anything because it's on private property. So is it private property or town property?
Huh,
Based on what I'm seeing here, it's showing private property.
how did that happen?
Well, that's my question. If the town paid to take it down because of non-payment of taxes, how can it still be a town property? I mean, that's private property.
Right,
Who initiated that?
What,
Who initiated that?
at the time?
Yeah, that project to
I think
tear
it-
down.
was the town, the
The
interim
town, because it
manager?
was
It's
an
the interim
imminent,
manager.
imminent
It's the-
hazard.
It was the interim manager, right?
Mm.
I think so. I mean, that's how I understood it at the time. It came down, not with this council, the last council.
Mhm.
I assumed it had to do with the interim manager and the town paid to take it down. So how is it's still
That's a very good question.
a
Yeah.
private property? So who would we ask?
Tax assessor.
Yeah,
No, she doesn't.
John, are you gonna ask that question?
I
Or do we-
can. I'm just writing this down.
I mean, it's just that if that's what was being said at the time, and I don't know all the details, but the town was taking it for non-payment of taxes and taking the building down, how can it still be a private property? Is there a lien on the property? I mean, the town should have put the bill for that, and then now they say it's worth $181,000. One Realty Trust is the name of the. So. And it's not just that they're using it for no, I don't know if that's leaking oil. That could be contaminating the property too. I mean, it's a van, but it's one van, but if they make a habit of doing this. It could also be an environmental issue.
As I said, I believe it's the people that live in lot
122.
122 there. From what
Where
I've
is that?
observed over the past year or two,
Across the street.
Yeah, on the other corner.
that one right
Yeah.
there. They have all kinds of they appear to run some kind of thing where they go out and have junk, they have a trailer they go clean out places
They
or
could be the
whatever.
wheel, for the elevator.
So, but as I remember it from since I drive by it almost every day.
Yeah.
That white van was parked alongside their property for a long time.
It's been there a while.
Okay. So we just need
So we need
to
to,
know
that's,
who,
to me,
who's the
needs
owner.
to be, yeah, I don't see how the town taking charge of it, taking it down and because of,
Right.
And
they
does the
didn't pay
town?
the taxes.
The other
How does
question-
it still remain a private property? Can they sell it? Is it, does the town have a lien on it? What's the story?
I remember when we sat in that meeting. And at the town council, and they
Yeah.
talked about the safety issue, and I remember the comment was made that. Then, once that building comes down, then we can steer the type of business into it that we want.
Yeah, so I'm confused now as to why it's being listed as a private property. And the police aren't gonna touch it if it's a private property.
No,
They're not.
right.
And you can't find fault.
It would
with them
have
at
to be
that.
the owner that would be the
Yes.
complaining party.
Yes,
Well,
How far
Another
from
question.
there is the, I'm sorry, how far from there is the teen center?
right down the road.
yeah. Don't curve.
Is it this one?
Right there.
Yeah, I think
No,
that's it.
this
No.
one.
Yep.
So too far for parking.
Well, I suggested everybody said,
It's
oh, no.
it's a
we can't do
great
it."
spot. It's just, because,
Exactly.
because of
Sure.
how it was built and before the day of, the automobile
Yeah.
ruling everything.
Yep.
It just didn't make allowances for cars.
So the teen center owns the frontage, the river frontage that, for the old
Yeah.
library? The old library
Yeah.
doesn't go back to the river?
Hmm.
Huh. I didn't realize that. I just
No.
assumed that was theirs, but it's not.
It is a nice space overlooking the.
I wouldn't mind
River.
living in it.
Yeah.
It has a nice fireplace too. I mean, it's not a pretty building, but the river's nice.
Yep.
See, there's a,
View, right,
there's
it's nice.
a parking space.
Okay, yep.
You'll see what they're selling it for and if I can afford to buy it.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
so we'll look into that. I'm confused as to who the owner actually is. I just don't see how it still can be listed as a private property.
Good point.
So. Okay. We can do public comment.
Nick, are you with us tonight?
Well, I think Don is there.
I am with you. Good evening, Commission. I just wanted to thank you for taking up the cause of St. Germain's store, especially Norma, writing the letters and continuing to look for other avenues. It's much appreciated. And a couple of days ago, I was figuring that it was a totally lost cause, that it was we were kind of done. But I'm just really happy to see that there's still some hope that something could be done with that store. And then the other thing was, I'm so glad to see George Madison's map behind you there, Norma.
Well,
And I was thinking the other day that it would be so fun that in 1941, when George was drawing that map, if you told him that someday someone was going to pay $10,000 to clean it up, he would have
Right.
really got a kick out of that.
I'm sure.
Well, just so we're clear on it, my grandfather did not paint that.
Oh, I thought it was a
It's-
Madison map.
Well, it's based on one.
Style, yeah.
The style and everything is based on his Coventry map, but some artist did the actual
There's no
work.
signature on it.
Yeah,
Oh, I see. I see.
Mhm.
Well, I'm always getting an education when I tune into your meetings.
well,
And that's it for me. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you. There's one more there, Don. I think that's Donna about the Reed School.
Her hand isn't raised.
Oh, her hands, oh. So she's watching. Okay,
Okay.
anybody else from public comment? No,
Make a motion.
okay, we'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?